What's going on, everybody? This is Josh Morris with the Everything Paranormal Show, and joining me tonight is author, medium, and empath Alan Wright. Alan, welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
Very good, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Good. It's good to see you, and I'm glad to have you on the show because from what I understand, of course, you're author of 9 books. Dealing with, are they all paranormal related?
Yeah, pretty much. They're all experiences, my experiences that I've had in my lifetime. So yeah,
Nice. And so for those of you already by the end of this show, if you guys want to go check them out, for sure, hit them up on Amazon, and you can look for titles. Of course, you can look them by Alan Wright. Also, but we're talking titles like The Waves of Time, My Destination for the Truth, which that sounds pretty cool to me, At the Edge of Infinity, Through the Veil and Back, and Roads Less Traveled, and you have some more. So that's just to name a few. So why don't you just tell a little bit about yourself? Tell the folks a little bit about your history, like kind of where did it start for you?
Well, I was born with these abilities in 1949 and in Phoenix, Arizona. And I learned at an early age what I thought was happening to me as far as hearing some voices or, seeing spirits was normal. When you're a little kid, I just thought everybody did that. I found out very quickly, though, when I started school that wasn't the case, and I was pretty weird, and as you can see, I'm still weird. But so I kind of stayed in the closet, so to speak. I didn't let anybody know. My family members, there's some of them that don't know. And but I went all the way through high school. I went through my career, working and everything, and I didn't do it. Just maybe after work, something, I gave a reading or whatever, but I didn't do it until I retired. And when I retired, I decided that I didn't give a damn what anybody said. I was just going to go ahead and do what I wanted to. I am what I am. I do what I do. Everything I do is true. And if somebody don't like it, they can just fly a kite as far as I'm concerned, because, it's there,
Right.
I've had people say I worship the devil because I'm a medium. That's so far from the truth. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a healer also. And I heal people.
Right.
I heal animals. And I don't think God or the devil, if I was worshiping the devil, I don't know if I'd be able to heal people and animals and do good, And I do good. I do a lot in my readings even. You and I were talking about it, earlier. I've had readings where people break down and cry because there was something in their life that I hit upon that one of their ancestors, maybe a father or a mother, told them something that they needed to hear, and they didn't hear it until they came and saw me or over the telephone. And it broke something up in them where they were healed of that. I've had so many people thank me for the reading that I gave because of that.
Right.
But anyway.
But I mean, that brings up, and I think you bring up a good point that some people forget about, and that is that there was a time, really in the last maybe 10 to 15 years, it's been more acceptable because of a lot of the mainstream television shows that like the reality-based shows that kind of brought it to people's living room. And again, I'm not endorsing those shows or anything, but what I'm saying is, before that, it was very taboo, and so a lot of people did kind of keep things in the closets, so to speak, because of fear of people saying, especially if you had a job and you had to function in, like a certain society that you're in, and I think you bring up a good point. It's kind of tough sometimes when people had to suppress that in their life, and then now you're retired. It's like you get, and we are in an age now, so the combination of retiring and then being in this age now in this last 10 to 15 years, it's like, I don't give a damn. We can just do this. But when did you? So when did you when was the first time? What was the first book that you wrote, and what made you decide to start writing it?
Well, my wife and I got married in 2008. She's also a empath, psychic medium. She's sensitive, and she does Reiki, so she's also a healer basically by touch. And her and I got married, and I'm going to tell you right now, to let your viewers, I've been married. What? That's what I said. 2008. No. Well, anyway, I've been married 5 times, and part of the problem was the women that I married did not, could not, they did not understand the things that was going on in me. It takes a special person to be married to a guy or a woman that's a medium and an empath and stuff, and they're not hiding it, or
Right.
sometimes it's hard to hide it. You can't hide it. And with Lori, she's those things and she understands it, so we get along quite famously, and I love her to death. She loves me to death. She's my publisher. She's makes sure that all my books get to Amazon,
Right.
And but anyway, so much for that.
No, I mean that's good though. And so you just kind of started writing, and a lot of these are accounts that you personally had. I guess let me kind of bring you back to what was your first probably paranormal experience in your life that you can really remember? What was that that you can remember that really stood out?
Well, first off, I wrote my first book in 2015. And that was because Lori kept saying, "You ought to write a book. You ought to write a book." So anyway, I did, But then I was wondering who would publish the book. And I had a publisher there for a while, and went through Amazon, and we decided we could do that ourselves, and that's what we did. But my first experience was I hadn't even started grade school yet. I think I was about 5 years old. I remember waking up one morning and there was a spirit at the end of my bed, and she was looking out the window of my bedroom, like she was waiting for somebody or something. And that kind of scared me to death, actually. And I hid under the covers for probably about 10 minutes. It seemed longer than that, though, until it went away, and it did. But being I have to tell you, too, I believe I got a lot of my abilities from my grandmother and my mother. I used to think of my mother as a little gypsy girl because she was only about 5'2", something like that, 3. And but she had things that she felt things that might happen to the family, or things that was going to happen uh, that would affect the family. And so I feel that I got it from her, and my grandmother was the same way. But my grandfather was the special one. He's the one that I could relate to, and he was more of a father to me than my own father was. My father was kind of cold and indifferent about anything, and my grandfather's the first one that did a lot of things for me. First one that threw a baseball with me. First one to teach me to go fishing and stuff. And he was very important to me.
Right.
And when he died in 1982, left a big hole in my heart. But I'll tell you about 1983 later if you want me to. Or I can do it now. It's up to you.
I mean, whatever you like. I'm just listening to your stories, and I know that you got to have a lot of history. It just again, you cranked out 9 books. That's a lot. I mean, I did 1 book. That's it. But but mostly it was a lot of theories and stuff too. But
Yeah.
so do you ever really dive into the theories of stuff, or do you really just talk about the experiences and whatnot?
Well, a little bit, but most of it, I didn't have to really research anything; it just happened to me, So, it was right there. And as far as theories and stuff, uh, I'm also a psychic. I'm a psychic medium, and I've been shown things. I've been told things like what's going to happen in the uh, future. This thing with COVID-19 and everything. I told my co-host on crossover connections that there was going to be something coming up pretty soon, and this was just about a month, 2 months before this COVID-19 came out. And I get feelings just like my mother did about things that's going to happen. But it's
Right.
different with me because I have feelings about things that's going to happen to the world, possibly, or to where I live, things like that. But I can tell you right now, this is far from being over with. This climate change is real. The things that they're talking about, the scientists, they're telling the truth about it. I've been shown some things, and my book, the one that number 9, hasn't been published yet. It's entitled "Things to Come," and it's about what's going to happen later on, about floods and earthquakes and all that stuff. The thing of it is my wife has been sick for about a year and a half, and she hasn't been able to publish that book. And so the things that I said that was going to happen in that book is basically happening now. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to get that book released before,
yeah,
or else it'll be passed.
It's gonna be a history book.
Yeah, you'll have to change the title.
Yeah, things that happen.
Well, Bob had a question. Bob, one of our viewers, and also our regular one of our panels on the Paranormal Council. He says, what do you think about the flamboyant mediums on TV like Long Island Medium or Chip Coffee?
I like Chip. He's good. He's professional. I like Chip. Long Island Medium, I've heard of her, but I haven't ever watched her in action. But
Okay.
I think a lot of the mediums, they're out there just for money. I think a lot of the mediums that's in these call-in places, like some of these California mediums or whatever they call them. I don't know how real they are, and I don't know how much they can tell somebody of their future. I never had to, and I never wanted to really put myself out there. What I wanted to do is I feel that I have a message of things because I was told things when I went and saw my grandfather in 1983. And I'm not against organized religion, but I'm not a fan of organized religion. I was told that organized religion is fine as long as it teaches the basic principles of the gospel. And the main principle is love. And if they would follow the teachings on the Sermon on the Mount, for instance, or what James said in the New Testament, religion in its purest form is feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, and taking care of the widows and the homeless. Mother Teresa, she practiced religion in its purest form her whole life. If we had all the so-called Christians in the world do what she did, this place would be a total different place to live in. Well,
Right.
we wouldn't have preachers driving fancy cars and living in fancy castles on a hill. These people are going to answer to some things I wouldn't want to have to answer to. And like I said, I feel I have some things that people need to know. They need to know what I saw. And what I saw and heard was the truth that came straight from the horse's mouth. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Right. And Rupert Fellows says, hi, Rupert. He said, spiritualism is the religion of clairvoyance.
Well, I can live with that probably. I deal with spirits on a daily basis. I understand spirits. I understand why they do the things that they do, and I of course don't go around preaching you belong to a spiritualist church because they'll probably start throwing rocks at you. But I can deal with it, no problem.
So let me ask you, what would be something that people would be surprised to learn about you?
Well, my family would probably be very surprised to learn about me. Because, like I said, they don't even know about the things that I can do and that. But anyway, that's their problem. I don't know. People that know me probably wouldn't be surprised of anything because I'm just there. I am who I am, like I told you. I do what I do. I can be sitting talking to someone like we were a couple months ago from next door, neighbors. And all of a sudden, the mother who had passed of our next door neighbor, the woman came up and stood right beside me and said she had a message for her daughter. So what am I supposed to do? Sit there and be quiet? No, I told her, I said, your mother's with me right now. She's standing beside me. And you should have saw the look on her face. I guess she was surprised then, but she wasn't afterwards.
Right.
But, I'm doing a reading tonight of my, what do they call him, the doctor's assistant or something. I was talking to her on email today, and all of a sudden her mother comes up to me. And so I asked her in email, I said, has your mother passed? And she said, yes, about a year ago. And I said, well, she's come up to me and she has a message for me, for you, that she wants me to convey to you. I said, would you please call me after you're done working tonight after the show here? She said that she would. So she wasn't expecting that, and I'm sure I surprised her with it. People are surprised when I tell them I'm a healer, and they're really surprised when they see that it works. I do blessings on our 3 dogs all the time. My little Chihuahua, she's so used to getting blessings that she comes up to me and asks me for a blessing. The reason being is it quiets her down. She gets real relaxed. And after her blessing, which only lasts maybe 15 to 20 seconds, she goes right to sleep. I put her to sleep. And she actually asked me, I've never had an animal ask me for a blessing before. I can tell when she wants one. Just things like that.
I know.
Opportunity of healing people that was in the hospital, that was in intensive care. They were hooked up to machines and everything. The doctor didn't give them a chance to live, supposedly. And I gave them a blessing. And this woman in particular, she's living in California now with her husband and about 4 kids. They thought she was going to die. The only thing I said to you, I said, I command you in the name of Jesus Christ to live, to respond to treatment and therapy. And that's what you did.
Oh, that's awesome. I know Bob had a question, and I know that you told me earlier that you don't go on any kind of like paranormal investigations. No. But Bob did ask, he said, do you think that mediums have a place in paranormal teams for either verification of equipment being used or to direct them to the areas for the best communication?
Oh, yeah, really. Excuse me here, get my phone steady here. I think the reason why I don't go, I'm too damn old, you know.
That's like Bob.
2 years old. I can't climb around in some vacant building, you know, at nighttime. You know, I'd be asleep by 8 o'clock. You know, it's. But if you're young and you do what I do, I would say it'd be very profitable for your team to have a medium on the program or on your show, or you know, whatever, to go with you on these ghost hunts. Because what a medium can do, for one thing, they can communicate with the spirit that's there. They wouldn't have to have K2 meters and all this stuff, because if they are a good medium, I know when a spirit comes up close to me. I can communicate with them. I know what they want, and if you had a good medium with you, you cut down on the price of equipment even.
Right. Well, we're going to take a small thing. We're going to take a look, folks. I want to remind you guys, and again, I'm not trying to take anything away from you, Alan, but I just want to remind you folks, and welcome, by the way, paranormal consultant. Stacy, I know you have a question. Bob has another question, so I'm going to try to get to all those here in a second. I want to take a quick moment, guys. I want to show you, remember, Terry Lynn and I, we just released our series on Paraflix last night. So for those of you that didn't get to see the trailer, I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer for you guys real quick. So it's kind of like a little commercial breaking away. But we're going to play the trailer, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If we can get to it here. Hold on a second. Let's see if it plays. Hold on. I got to get it. Here we go. I'm going to rewind it because I messed up.
Your team has been chosen. You must complete all of the tasks. I do not tolerate failure.
All right. Well, there you guys go.
I like
A little look at the trailer for the new episode. So for those of you that want to go watch that, make sure you get, if you don't have Paraflix, go get Paraflix. It's an amazing streaming platform. It's like $3 a month, and you can go find my show on there. And the last I checked today, we actually made it to the hot titles section. So we're hoping to get onto the most watched section here real soon. But yes, so anyways, definitely go check that out. If you don't, you can go to my website. Also on YouTube, I have that trailer on YouTube under the Everything Paranormal Show. There's links. You can use that link to sign up for Paraflix, and we'll get credit for it. So, but if you don't, if you just want to go, that's awesome. But I appreciate the feedback, guys. I really do. Now back to Alan, our guest of honor. So let's get back to a couple questions. One is Stacy. Stacy said, "Can you give Josh a reading?" That was his question.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. And then I've actually don't really normally get a lot of readings done. So I have to make sure to open my mind up for them. I typically block a lot of things. So Bob says, question, has Alan been involved in removing earthbound entities from a house or property?
Yes.
Okay.
We went to California one time, and the lady that we knew, she had two daughters, and we were talking about the house that she just bought and everything. And when the two daughters came in from outside, I guess they were shopping or something. She said, one of them said, "Oh, by the way, did you tell him about the baby crying, the ghost that we have?" And that puts it at a whole different level for me, because I know there's no baby crying, and I also know that there's no baby in the spirit world, earthbound babies. I knew instantly that it had to be something evil that was just trying to irritate them and torture them. So I said, "Why don't you take me up to where you hear this baby?" And it was a 2-story house. And that was a kind of old house. But anyway, they took me upstairs, and there was this one bedroom. And I refused to go into it because it was so strong. The stuff that was coming out of there, the evil stuff that was coming out of there, was so strong. I told him I wasn't going in there. Plus, it was cold. Change of temperature from the outside to the door of the room. And I told them, I said, "You want me to remove this?" And they said, "Yes, would you?" And I said, "I sure will." And I'm telling you, I might not go to church. I might not do everything that a so-called Christian will do, but I do believe in God. And I believe that's where I get my abilities, and I give him credit for every one of them. So what I did was I commanded that thing in the name of Jesus Christ to leave the premises and not come back.
Right.
And after I did, I blessed the house. I gave it a thorough blessing in the name of Jesus Christ. And you could feel the atmosphere in the house just change. There was like a comfortable, peaceful feeling after that thing left. And anyway, a couple months later, I was talking to her on the phone, and I asked her, I said, has your evil thing came back yet? She said, no. She said, we haven't heard any more babies or anything. She said, I think you took care of it. I said, well, thank God. So I have done that. I can do that. I don't want to take anybody's job away from them, though. I know there's a lot of demonologists out there, but I have been known to do it. And there again, I'm getting kind of old and I'm retired, so if the need comes up, I can do it.
Right. Well, no, I mean, and I like when people do good things and they're not selfish. You know, that is kind of a difference that you see between some psychics out there, is that they're always trying to find ways to make money and, you know, really just cash in all the time. They really have that business going. Versus ones that are trying to heal and help people and do good things. And so I do commend you for that, sir. So as far as doing a reading on me, are you comfortable doing a reading live like this, or?
Yeah, it don't bother me. First off, I have a male figure that came in when we started talking about doing a reading for you. He's presented himself to me as your dad passed.
Not that I know of. I don't know, because I don't really have a relationship with him, unfortunately. So,
well, he's presenting himself to me as a father figure. It could be your father. It could be your grandfather that treated you like a son. It could even be like an uncle or somebody that treated you like a son. But I'm pretty sure it's your father. You might want to check on it and find out for sure, because he's standing back and he's kind of he's got this guilty look on his face, and I'm asking him what the deal is, and he's telling me that he's sorry for not being in your life. He's telling me that things happen, and that at the time he thought what he was doing was right, but it wasn't. But it was too late by the time he realized that. He said that he's proud of the things that you have been doing. So he says that he's with you all the time. Do you ever feel that?
Not a whole lot, but I keep myself pretty guarded, though. So when I'm not investigating, I keep my shields up, so to speak. My aura.
He tells me that he's around you a lot, and he watches over you and your family. And he said that he wished. He says that he wished he could undo what he did before, but he said that he's trying to undo it now in the spirit world. And what he is like your guardian angel. He says that, I'm glancing over at him because he's sitting there right here talking to me. He says that he can do things in the spirit world, like protect you from some things in the spirit world that's bad. And that's what he's doing right now. Oh, and he's also telling me it's a good thing that you do protect yourself, because doing what you do,
Right.
you need protection.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but he's telling me that he loves you.
Okay. I
And
mean,
he tells me that he's telling me again that he's sorry. And he's also saying that when it's your time to pass, that he wants to be there when you do. He'll be in the room when you pass, and you'll see him even before you die, because he's got to be there. You'll recognize him too.
yeah, that's definitely interesting for sure.
He's kind of backing off now. He's telling me to tell you that, again, that he's sorry, and that he's going to be around you and your family.
Well, that's
Anyway.
that's. I'll definitely have to check and see if my father's still alive. I think we might be able to keep. I don't know. He's not a very social person. Like I said, again, I haven't really dealt with him in quite a long time. So it'll be interesting to find out.
If that wasn't your father, then there was somebody there that was really sorry the way they treated you when you were young. I don't know who it could be if it wasn't your father.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to find out. There's only like probably 3 male role models in my life, so I probably would have to check on all 3 of them to see what's going on with them, because all 3 of them, again, could potentially have.
Say, hey, are you dead?
Right. Call them up. But yeah, so that would definitely be. So it's interesting. I appreciate what you did, and that's awesome. Like I said, I don't normally get readings, so that's cool. I was glad to see it. And for those of you watching, if I do find out any information about anybody in my life that has passed away and me not knowing, I will follow up with you guys and let you know for sure. So getting back into the show part of things, which let's see. Okay, Bob said, question: when you command an entity to leave in the name of Jesus, does the entity leave on its own, and if not, do Jesus spirituality do it, or delegate it in an archangel like Michael?
Well, actually, I feel that, let's just put it out there, that we were all spirits at one time. We were all together, and that's one reason why these spirits, when you go into a haunted house or whatever, they already know your name. They already know you. So they know what you're doing there. They know why you're doing it, and so on and so forth. And they also know what you can do and what you won't do. They know your fears. They know all of that. In the same way that they know me, and they know what I can do, and they know that Jesus Christ is with me. I'm not saying that I'm a disciple or anything, but I feel that I do it at his bidden. It's like him working through me. It's like he delegates that authority to me.
Right.
And when I command that spirit to leave, it's almost like Jesus Christ doing it, because I'm doing it in Jesus' name.
Right.
And the spirit recognizes that.
Well, in Paranormal Consultant, he interjected real quick and just said, maybe she, I'm sorry if I'm just jumping to he, but he or she said, I didn't mean to interject or take away, but it said that even his name holds power enough to cast out those who want to harm.
Exactly.
And also, I know Beat 3 Airspace. Hey, I'm glad to see you here. You missed a few things. You'll have to go back and watch because we did play a trailer. And also, the names of his books. I did name off some. You can go to Amazon, look up Alan Wright, and you'll find all of his books there as well because he's got like 8 for sure and like a 9th one on the way. Unless it becomes a history book. So, depending on if he gets it out soon enough. And of course, I See You See Me. She's battling with her entities as well. What else? Did I miss anything, guys? I'm trying to make sure I don't miss everything. I think I've got us mostly caught up on everybody's comments for the most part. B3 Airspace said intent is key. And but yeah, Paranormal Consultant said my name is Matt. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we didn't. I didn't, because sometimes I say he and then like it's could it be a she? I don't know. I can't see your thumbnail; it's real small on my screen. So, all right. So now let me ask you this, sir, Alan. If and this is kind of a fun question I like to ask. This is one of my couple fun questions. One is if you pass away. What kind of outfit? If people saw you as a ghost, what would they see you wearing? What would be your ghost outfit?
Well, from my experience, I've been around a lot of people that's passed, and I've seen their spirits leave their body. And believe it or not, they're wearing clothes.
Right.
And I think they can basically present themselves in whatever they want to. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but even God or Jesus can present himself the way he wants to. I often wondered that trip, the astral projection that I took when I saw Jesus in that white light. I often wondered what an American Indian would see, or what a Buddhist would see, or a Hindu. Would they see the same image that I did? Would it be the same, thing that I saw, or would they have the same experience? I often wondered that, and I don't know, for sure. Because when I was there with these people that's passed, I was never once asked what church I went to, what religion I belonged to. The important thing with them was love. They wanted to know if I loved my family. They wanted to know if I loved my next door neighbor. They wanted to know if I loved the world. And they wanted to know if I loved the earth. I'm just got to put this out there. They told me that the earth is a living organism. And the reason being was it was formed spiritually before it was formed physically. Now you can deal with that however you want to deal with it, but that's what I was told. Everything that was created had a spirit first. We did, animals did, plant life did, so that means the world did too. And that's what they told me, and I believe every word of it. I treat the earth as a living thing. That's the reason why we're having the problems that we're having right now, because people do not treat the earth kindly. They're drilling and hammering and getting oil out of it and whatever else. At some point, it's gonna, how can I put it, reject them. And it's not going to be a good thing when that happens. The sad thing is it's going to happen to everybody. And we have to be prepared for that. I was told once about this climate change. I was asking basically what we could do to stop it or change it. And in my book, I even wrote, it's too late. I was told it's too late. No matter what they do, they're not going to stop it. And so far, I'm right. I'm correct as what they told me. They can't stop it. There's no way. They keep moving back the time of no return. Well, that time's already here. So they better be making preparations for what they're going to deal with, things to come. And that's what my book's entitled, Things to Come. They're going to have to deal with the floods and the droughts. I live in Arizona. We're already in an extreme drought. We have cactus out here that's dying. Who can imagine that? Who can imagine a cactus that lives in a desert dying because it's not getting enough water? Back east, they're having floods. In Detroit, they had a flood just the other day where cars were stranded underneath water. They're getting floods, while out here we're starving to death for rain.
Right.
It's earthquakes. They're having earthquakes all over the world, and diseases. COVID-19 is just the beginning of those diseases. You better get used to wearing masks. You better keep one someplace because you're going to need it around, much like they do in Japan. They wear masks all the time, it seems like, and in China. But anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
That's okay. So are you do you do any prepping? Are you what they call a prepper?
I told you I feel things. And when we bought this house, we only lived in this house about a year and a half now. And for some reason, I just had a need to buy fruit trees. I don't know why. I was getting fruit trees in the mail, and I was just planting fruit trees. And I've never planted much before in my whole life. I don't consider myself a farmer, and I'm out there planting things. And I don't know, but that's part of it. You need to be preparing, and you hit it right on the head. There's going to be food shortages here in the United States, and who would have ever thunk it? Here in the United States, the most powerful country in the world, we're going to have food shortages. We're going to have people begging in the streets here pretty soon. And it's going to come down where we won't even be able to wipe our asses because we won't have enough toilet paper, But it's happening. Even our dogs and our animals are going to run into food shortages.
Right.
It's going to be a bad time for everybody, even in the United States. People might think, well, it's not going to bother us any. Well, COVID-19 brought us to our knees, and there's some things out there around the corner that's going to be worse than COVID-19. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Welcome to the days of President Biden. Sorry, I had to go there. All right. Anyway, I had to go there. Sorry.
Well, we've all been there.
Anyways, okay. So Bob says, okay, he had a kind of question that's based on aliens. And Bob says, since it appears that aliens communicate non-verbally, would this make it easier for you to communicate with an alien? And have you ever had that happen?
Well, I'm going to tell you just one thing. My abilities become stronger all the time. And the only reason why is because things are coming to a head in the spirit world. They know it. The spirits know it. They know things are coming to a head, and they're coming. And so it's easier for me to do my thing because of that. And yes, I saw a UFO when I went on my astral projection. When I went and saw my grandfather, these people that I said that told me things and stuff was not only my grandfather who had passed and my ancestors who had passed, but it was also a mixture of beings that has never lived on the earth. If you want to call them extraterrestrials or Martians, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, they're the ones that's been telling me anyway what's going on with the earth. I don't like to say things like that because then people think I'm crazy. But
well, when you live in the world of paranormal, they all think we're crazy. Period. No matter even if But I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I think that's one reason too why we're seeing more UFOs is because they know things are coming up, and they're actually preparing also. You'd have to be a complete idiot to sit there and say that there's no aliens, extraterrestrials. They're
Right.
there. They've been around since the beginning of time. And I'm going to tell you something right now. They have an extra long lifespan, too. We're talking thousands of years. Those things that are those beings that's with my grandfather and others that's passed, they've been around since the days of Noah and in the Bible and the Egyptians, in Egypt, the pyramids and stuff. They've been around for a long, long time. You could almost say they lived forever.
Right.
Anyway, so much for that. But yeah, when I saw my first UFO, I wasn't really surprised, but I was surprised at what it could do. I knew it wasn't a human at the controls of that thing because a human could withstand the G forces that thing was going through. It was coming towards me real slow like. Then all of a sudden it just shot off to his right, my left, and it shot off in a blur. You couldn't even tell what it was. It was like a bullet, just shot off in a blur off to the northeast then. And it was gone, out of sight within about like 2 seconds. And a human being inside that thing just could not take that type of G-force unless they did something to the plane or whatever you want to call it, ship, to have where it has its artificial gravity and all that stuff. But the G-forces would just be terrific in there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I had a similar experience. I think when I was younger, I remember I was riding with my grandmother in the car, and I happened to look up. The sun was setting, and I saw, like, it was one of those days when you saw a lot of the sky, and it was all clear. There was really no clouds in the sky, but there was one contrail, small little contrail, just looked like a little sliver in the sky, and I just was watching it, and as I was watching it, I saw it just zip, just like faster than anything. And from that far away, like the G forces for a human or anybody else, there's no test equipment or military equipment that would have just launched that fast. It just was gone, and then that contrail just stopped. Just stayed there, and then eventually dissipated. But I always remember that to this day, and so it was interesting. I definitely believe there's life out of this just Earth. I mean,
definitely.
You'd have to be naive to to think they're out of anyway. But yeah, so I get it. But listen, we're gonna start to kind of wrap things up real quick, or as we kind of close out toward the backside of the show. One of the questions that I definitely like to ask all my guests, and this is a fun hypothetical question for you. So, if you could go back in time just for one day and be like a ghost, just observe. Okay, you can't alter time, can't change time, but if you could just go back in time and pick one day to observe, when would it be and why?
Well, I always thought that Abraham Lincoln was pretty neat. I probably would like to go back and just be with him for a day or so, just observing whatever.
Yeah, that's an original answer.
Yeah. If I'm a ghost, I might be able to do that too. And also my grandfather, I'd like to go see him again.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a variety of answers over the years, over the time of the show with like Tesla, of course, the days of Jesus. There's been all kinds of different answers. Mine, I would love to witness a particular day in the building of the pyramids. I feel like that would answer a lot of questions as well.
Yeah, really.
I think there's a lot of knowledge to gain from seeing the pyramids being built for a day that relate to other things. So that was my personal answer that I always picked. So, but I wanted to mention as well, because I want to give you a chance to kind of to shout out a little bit about your podcast, your books. I know you have a podcast. So if you want to shout out anything, now's your chance.
Okay. Well, the podcast is on Sundays, 6:30 EST, and it's called Crossover Connections. The host of the show is Barbara Patrone. I was on her show about 2 years ago, 2.5 years. And next thing I know, I became a co-host. But it's a show where it's a call-in. We do free readings on the show. The show lasts for about an hour and a half. And it's, if need be, somebody calls and says their pet's sick, I give them a reading over the telephone. It's just chat. We talk about things. Barbara Patrone is very political. She didn't like the way things went during the election, and she let everybody know. But it's just a fun show. It's loosely, done. We started out with just a few viewers, something like 30, something like that. And I saw one count where we were at 7,500 viewers or listeners, and we were all over the world. We're in Japan and Australia and all over. So it's done quite well in the last 2.5 years.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, really. Right now we're on every other Sunday because of summer. We went on summer hours, we call them. But this coming Sunday, we won't be on, but the following Sunday we will be. But anyway.
And well, Rupert said that Abraham Lincoln is alive in a different dimension.
He don't talk to me about dimensions. There are different dimensions. I can tell you that right now. My grandfather is in a different dimension right now. Jesus called it paradise when he was on the cross. He told that one criminal on the cross that day he would be with him in paradise. He didn't say that very often in the Bible. I think that's the only time he did. And I often wondered why he didn't say, "You'll be with me in heaven today." you said paradise. Paradise is the first level of heaven, our first dimension of heaven. And that's where my grandfather is. That's where most everybody goes that dies. They go to this first level of heaven, which, but then you learn the rules and ordinances of the universe, and you can move up those levels, different dimensions. And God himself lives on the very top dimension. And I saw 9 levels, or 9 dimensions, if you want to call it that. I don't think there's any more than that. I know there's none less than 9. But it says in the Bible too, we're sons and daughters of God. Right. And if you're a good father, you want your kids to you want to do good things for your kids, and you want your kids to have what you have also. And that's what it is. These different dimensions, you can work your way up to that top level. And I'm going to blow some people's minds now, but that top level, you can become like God. And what you become is a creator. And you have your own universe. You have your own Earths. You have your own planets and whatever, because you'll be the creator. You'll be able to do the things that God does. But anyway, so much for that.
Well, Bob wanted to sneak in another question before we end the show. He said, basically, what do you think about Bigfoot? But he says, do you think Bigfoot is from another dimension, and can they be mentally communicated with by a medium?
I never thought of it. I probably could communicate with one. I think a medium could. I think they are from a different dimension. They found layers where they're supposed to lay and sleep or whatever, but they've never really found any bones or bodies or anything like that. And I think they come to this earth for a purpose. There's a lot of UFOs that spotted at the same time that they see Bigfoot, and I think they're connected in some way. I don't know if they're doing the bidding for the aliens in the spaceship or what, but I don't think they stay here very long. They might stay here to do whatever they have to do, and then they take off. And that's the beddings and things that you see out in the forest or whatever.
Oh, I know what they do. They show up. They come in from another dimension. They shake a tree. Then they walk parallel. They walk parallel with you and your camera, and then they disappear behind some bushes, and they go back to another dimension.
Yeah, really.
That's what they do.
I heard one time this guy shot one with his rifle, and just as he shot, the Bigfoot disappeared. A person or a thing that's 8-9 feet tall, weighs 1,000 pounds, how does it disappear? Maybe he's a god too, I don't know. But out of his own dimension.
Right.
But there's more to it than just him being an animal. He's not an animal. He's got high intelligence. He does things that humans can't do. I know I can't disappear.
It's true.
Like you said, walk beside you. You don't even know they're there. So, yeah, he's right. They come from different dimensions.
Well, and Paranormal Consultant just said that he, theory-wise, he had heard that Bigfoot could possibly be a scout-like creature from extraterrestrials, like a scout-like creature for extraterrestrials, like the aliens could set him to scout things out for us. That's why he's so elusive and observing us.
And I kind of believe that too. They're using them for, like you said, scouts or whatever. and they're so damn big, who's going to stop them, and then if they can disappear when you shoot at them, then, they're doing good for their alien cohorts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, you gotta check out Alan's stuff. Again, go look him up on Amazon. Go to his podcast, listen to him. Alan, I'm so glad you came on the show to share your stories, and maybe we can get you back on the show down the road here, and bring you back on. We can always talk some more awesome theory, and hey, crazy is always welcome here, and we're all crazy. Yeah. So we're all crazy here, believe me. So I have no qualms with that. But folks, go check out his stuff. And again, as far as my stuff goes, don't forget go check out Paraflix. I've got my new series there. And also don't forget every Thursday, this was supposed to be the first episode of the new style show where we're going to go out in the field and do more things out in the field. But when Alan reached out and contacted me, I was like, I got to get this guy on the show. My wife's like, hey, you need to get him on the show. So we wanted to get him on the show. So probably next week, we'll probably do something out in the field. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Alan, don't go anywhere. But guys, thank you. And remember, seek the truth. We'll see you in the next episode.